Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to continue with our oil line cooler to the radiator block off test. Panther now has 444,096 miles, I believe. You can see it there, 444096. On the oil filter, I changed the oil last at 437,800. Let's see how many miles that is. That is 6,400 miles. I went over the mileage. I was going to try to do some 5,000. Nonetheless, we're going to take an oil sample, send it to Blackstone Labs, put another 6,400 miles on the car with the oil cooler lines removed and blocked off. Then we're going to do another oil sample, see if there's any major differences in the condition of the oil driving the car with the oil cooler lines blocked off. Now, my highest engine temperature has basically been around 210 degrees. When I was towing a Red Baron up over the mountain, leaving Albuquerque, temperature got as high as around 230. Technically, the highest oil temps been around 230, maybe as high as 240, I think 230. And I did a check on the internet, and it says that full synthetic oil normally does not begin to break down until around 450 degrees. So let's go ahead, drop the oil cooler lines, block it off, and run the test for the next 6,300 miles. You can probably use this video to replace the oil cooler lines as well. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing I did, put the car in gear, set the parking brake, or if you got an automatic, put the car in park. Chalk the back wheel on the other side, break your lug nuts loose. Next, I'm going to jack up the car, put the jack stand under it, and remove the wheel. Remove that nut there, pull the splash guard back. I'm going to pull those two bolts, support the oil pan, and then I'm going to either lower the car down or lift the engine up, put that bolt in the spot where it'll give me more room to work on these oil cooler lines. Then I'm going to take those two out and this T30 on the front out to get these oil cooler lines loose from the oil cooler thermostat. I put a support for the oil pan there. Then I jacked the car up, took the jack stand out. I lowered the car a little bit onto this oil pan. I took these bolts out. Now I'm going to lower this car, which the engine won't lower, but the car will, until that top bolt lines up with that bottom hole in the engine. Then I'm going to put the bolt in there. Then I'm going to jack the car back up and put it back on jack stands for safety. Alright, I got that top mount bolt in the lower engine hole, which raises the engine according to the subframe. See how much higher that is? You can see all that oil filter now. Now I'm going to reach in here with a tool, and I'm going to take this lower bolt off of this AC compressor, the bolt closest to the oil filter off the AC compressor is 14 millimeter. You don't actually have to take the bolt out. You just want to get it out enough so you can get the little socket in there. So that coming out about 3/4 of an inch will give me enough room to reach that small 10 millimeter that holds this bracket holding the oil lines against the block. And I wish I had my laser pointer, but you see that bolt I got out hanging out there, the 10mm in the bracket there. From the screw out, 10mm small 1/4" socket, 1/4" swivel, 3/8 to 1/4" adapter. Looks like a 6" long 3/8 extension. Then I put my 3/8" ratchet on there, broke it loose. Now I'm gonna put Henry on there to spin it out, and that'll be out and done. I did have to stick my hand up through the bottom of this frame here to guide that socket on, but only took me a minute. Stuck the magnet in there, pulled the screw out. Next, get the T30 going on the front side of this and unlatch the oil line from the thermostat. I'm gonna put a drip pan under here to catch any oil that runs out of that oil cooler line. It was harder for me to reach that front screw than I could remember, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull these 2 screws out of the thermostat that bolted to the block, and then I'm gonna hit that screw in the front. The 2 screws going into the block was T40s, don't strip them. I got them out with this, but you may want to use a Allen style T40 like that. Put a cheater on there, but don't strip them, they're not no fun. Now I'm gonna get this T30 out from the front on here. I actually knocked that thing out with Henry. Now that bracket will come off as such, and those lines will slide out of this oil thermostat. I'm gonna go ahead and pull those out. I wiped the block off. You could put the block off plate on now. Here are the 2 block off plates I got from non-turbo engines. This one looks like it's got a better gasket than the other, but you could spray that down, wash it off, whatever you want to do. And when I got those off the engine, it had 10mm head screws in there, I believe. So I'm gonna use those to put this on there. So let me wipe this off and go ahead and put this on now. If for some reason your block off plate doesn't have a gasket, your oil cooler thermostat does. So wipe that off one more time, put this on here. You see the oil coming out of my oil cooler lines. These were made at a hydraulic shop. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these lines. I'm gonna use a snap ring puller, this right here, to unclip the clips on that and pull that lower one out. And then I'm gonna go up there and do the upper one, and then I'm gonna fish the lines out. I pulled the oil dipstick so that would be out of the way, wouldn't break it. Set it over there, pull both lines up this way. That's how my glove look, both of them, when I get the lines out. And there's one line there, and the other line is still draining in the oil catch pan. So now put the oil dipstick back in. I'm gonna go ahead and put that 10mm back in the block. I don't need to. It's not gonna leak any oil or anything. And I'm not putting anything in these holes. Bugs can crawl in and out of there if they want. That goes in there and out down the bottom. Doesn't bother me at all. You could cap them if you want, have something that might melt off or whatever. I just leave them open. So I got one open that side, one open that side. So now when I do a radiator replacement, I can get probably the cheaper radiator for the automatic non-turbo car, because it won't have these cooler connections on either end. Don't need them. Got a manual transmission, got the oil cooler lines blocked off. So let me go ahead and put that 10mm bolt in the block, snug it down, and I'm all done. Now if you're replacing the oil cooler lines with some new ones or rebuilt ones, you want to go ahead and reverse this procedure. Now that I have the oil cooler line system blocked off with this block off plate right here, I'm going to go ahead and change the oil and drive the car 6,300 miles and do a oil analysis. So I'm going to do an oil analysis now, mail it in, get the results back. I don't want that mixed up with my next analysis. Then I'm going to run 6,300 miles on the car, and we'll compare those oil analysis before and after the oil cooler system blocked off. I'm also going to monitor the temperature of the oil on my oil temperature gauge. Here's the tools you need. Got a magnet, big 14, small 10, pivot, joint, 3/8 to 1/4, T30, T40, long extension. I got that crooked boxed in, you don't have to have that. A couple other tools for getting the tire off, jack stands, something to put under the engine. I'll go ahead and list them. Got everything done. Oil change, filter changed, tires, I went on ahead and rotated them, cleaned up my mess, dumped my oil, and a little bit more cleanup, and I'm out of here. Oh, that oil sample that I had in here that I dumped, forgot what it was. It was Little Red's oil sample from when all that sludge was in that engine. I meant to get that tested, so unfortunately I forgot to do it. It's gone. This is Panther's oil sample. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.